So, this is the February edition of the online class. And what I'd like to talk to you about today is epigenetics. And what it is that you are in control of your health. Are you in control of all of it? No. But you're in control of the great deal of what happens to you, how healthy you are, how strong you are, because your cells are changing all the time. And they're all changing at a different rate. The common idea is it's every 30 days, but that's just the average. Your skin cells are every 2 to 4 weeks. Your intestines are every 4 days. So your cells are changing all the time. So how is this happening? It's because your mind is is working with these cells. Now, every thought you think is is working to send new chemicals to bathe those cells. And you've got the wonderful neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, and those are things that we want to have on our cells. But there's also cortisol, the hormone cortisol, and that is not a great thing to have there because it makes it more stress and it makes more inflammation. And one of the things that causes just about every disease that we deal with is inflammation. So what we want to do is we want to have this our cells to be as healthy and as strong as possible. And how we do that is is we have to start to take care of them in many, many ways. But we have to also start to think different thoughts because every thought you think is creating something in your body. But the thoughts come from, it isn't that you can just start talking positive and thinking that's going to work because it's the feeling, it's the emotions, and it's the beliefs. It's what we believe deep down inside. That's what makes the difference. If you believe that something takes a certain length of time or you're going to die at a certain age, more than likely, science has shown that you will die at that age. You will. If you believe you can't get better, you can't. That's just the way it is. And there's many, many records of people that doctors have told them that that they would only have 6 weeks left, and they died right after 6 weeks. That is nobody's choice except yours. What do you believe? You can change beliefs, but they come from your family, they come from society, they come from the things that people believe certain things at a certain age. That is goofy. You are different than anybody else. I know a wonderful yoga teacher that's 98 years old, and everybody that teaches yoga wants to read everything she says, wants to see the things that she is doing. She's that age. Find people that are much older and figure out what do they do. They believe that their body is unique, and it is, each of us. Because first of all, our family, 40% effective on our DNA, but even less than that in reality because we can turn off and turn on genes. So you can turn off some of the genetic code that you were born with because it isn't about other people. It's about you and what you believe. This all started in 1967 when a society woman got the first heart transplant and she woke up and she asked for a Big Mac and a beer. Well, her family went crazy. She had never eaten a Big Mac and drank wine, not beer, and but the cells that she had received were from a young man whose favorite food was Big Macs and who loved beer. And it wasn't going to last forever because our cells are constantly changing. our business is to believe that we can make a difference. Our difference, our job here is to take care of this great gift that we've been given, our bodies. You have to decide what it is that you really want. If you want to be healthy, what are you willing to do for it? When I wanted to be done with the stroke, when I wanted no one to even know I ever had a stroke, I would strap my arm to a board with belts to sleep at night so my hand wouldn't go like this. And I couldn't control it when I was sleeping. I wanted it that bad that I was going to do something that was that uncomfortable. We all know that sugar is bad for us. We all know if you want to be healthy and strong, you have to eat vegetables and fruit, and you have to have enough protein, and you have to exercise. And we know that even men over 90 years old can become stronger if they lift weights. But so many people don't want to do the work. They want to find a pill that does it. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. We can make ourselves strong. We can make ourselves healthy. You can be pain-free. And it doesn't come from a pill. It comes from many, many things. And that's what I want to talk to you about. That's what I want to help you find the ways for whatever it is you want to do. If you want to lose weight or if you want to get healthy, no matter what it is, if what you want is a better relationship, no matter what, we can make that happen. We can make it happen, but you have to be willing to do the work. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go through the 12 systems in the body so that you have an idea of what each one of them does. Because that's a really important thing when we start to use visualization to change things. And so we're going to go through each of them. And there's also a 13th one that they're working on right now that they found a lot of new information about, and I'll be telling you about that too. So since I'm trying to keep each of these little movies are going to be about 10 minutes. I want you to know that, and they'll all be on YouTube, so that you can look at them in short segments. One of the things that I want you to know is worry is the worst thing you can do. So we're going to talk about how you can change that. And the Bureau of Statistics says that 45% of the things you worry about never going to happen. 35% of the things you worry about, you've already lived through once. 12% of the things can't happen. I think that is probably like the zombies, things like that. And 4% is going to happen. But out of that, 8% is going to happen. And 4% out of that 8% is there's something you can do about it, like your health. And 4%, there's nothing you can do about. So there's no point in worrying about it, because when you worry, you create inflammation in your body. That's what causes pain. That's what causes heart disease. That's what causes Alzheimer's and MS, and it causes so many things. I'm not saying in any way that you are at fault for whatever's going on in your life. What I'm saying to you is you can make a difference in your health. You can make a difference in your relationships. So let's start with all the systems. That's our next piece. Hi, everyone. Okay, we're starting with the skin cells and in the skin system. And this does the skin, the hair, the nails. It is also the glands in your skin. Now, there's a myth that says that every 7 years we have an entirely new system, a new body, and that's really not true, because it isn't every 7 years. Some of your body is new in 30 days. And some of your body your skeleton takes 10 years to be new. But everything is changing. There are some cells that don't change, but very few. The enamel on your teeth, that never changes. The eyelids, the cells in your lens of your eye, that has been there since you were a fetus. And there's your heart. There's many cells in your heart that don't change. They've just found that there's some cells in your heart that do change. And there's also limited change in your brain, which is a good thing because you don't want to lose your memories. So your skin, this is one of your big things. Your skin, if you weigh just your skin, it's 10 pounds and it's 20 square feet. Now there's many things that you can do to make sure you're getting enough water because that's something that your skin really, really needs. You need to keep it hydrated. So if you pull up the back of your skin, and it should go right back down like that. If you can see, I drink a lot of water. But if it doesn't go back down right away, you're not drinking enough water. So that's something that you really need to do. And think about it. Every 2 to 4 weeks, you have new skin. You have new skin cells. But what is that mama cell telling the baby cells? It's telling them, what is your belief about growing older? What is your belief about your skin? Do you think that it's never going to get any better, or it's always this, or it's always that? Whenever you hear always or never, you know that it's a belief that's not working best for you. So get rid of those words in your life. You need copper, A, E, and C, and zinc for your skin to heal. Most of those things you can get from vegetables, fruit. Everything has got a different little piece to it. So that's why you need this wide variety of food, because nobody can say you need this and this, and that's why just a multiple vitamin doesn't work. If we could just take a vitamin and everybody be healthy, that would be great, but that's not how it works. We don't even understand so many of the things that our body needs. Fingernails grow about 1/8 of an inch a month. Toenails grow slower. Hair grows about a half an inch a month. And you need to have calcium and vitamin D and vitamin E for your skin. Calcium does not work without vitamin D. So that is something that you really need to think about. Skin brushing is something that's very, very helpful for your skin. Just this kind of a brush that you can just gently go over your skin, your legs. It it is amazing. It moves the toxins along, and it's really, really important. But the best thing you can do for your skin is water, sleep, good air, and exercise because it keeps the blood moving, and more than anything else, less stress. Foods your skin likes: sweet potatoes, avocados, sunflower seeds, fruit, all of those things they really like. If you have skin problems, you want to stay away from dairy and alcohol. Um, Eczema, you want to stay away from coffee and eggs. Eggs are wonderful for you for healing and for everything else, but not for eczema. So we're going to start with the digestive system. That starts in your mouth and it goes all the way through to where the food leaves your body. It includes your liver, your gallbladder, your pancreas is part of it too. And this is one of the systems that you read about the most because it seems like everybody wants to lose weight or to our digestive system is such an important part of our health and big issues right now because people have a lot of questions about gluten. If you're a celiac, of course, you can eat no gluten. Then beyond that, you need to know If you have a sensitivity to gluten, you might want to read the Grain Brain and Grain Stomach, I think it's called. And it's you know, grains are important in many things, but it doesn't mean it has to be wheat. Wheat has a lot of bad things going on about it right now, and it's because they have tried to increase is how much how much grain comes in a wheat field, and our bodies cannot respond to that so much. And then we get IBS is a huge issue right now. And grain is or wheat is the first thing that is taken away with IBS. Stress is another thing that's a big, big piece of that. But one thing that they have found, and this is that peppermint in 120 trials came out ahead of IBS medicines. Peppermint, coriander, that stops the bacteria, and caraway and cardamom. Those together make a really powerful, powerful thing for your stomach. But what you want to do is make sure that you have a really, really pure peppermint. And for that, I feel, because in full disclosure, I use Young Living Oils, and I am a distributor for that, but their oils are so pure. And if you're going to put them in your body, you need something that is extremely pure, that has that the 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 FDA has said that you can use internally, and Young Living does have many that you can do that. And I think that peppermint is an amazing choice. The liver, which we don't think about very often, can do 500 to 1,000 different functions, and every 4 minutes, our entire blood supply, it is filtered, the entire blood supply every 4 minutes. That's amazing. Every single cell in your liver is replaced in 90 days. So every year or two, you have a completely new liver, and every 4 days, you have new intestines. So when you can change the way you're taking care of your body is trying to heal all the time. That's what it's made for, is to heal. And it's a wonderful thing. You need water to flush out the system. It's just like any other system that you're trying to flush. You need water. You need to have less and less processed food. And something that they have found that makes a really big difference is fasting. And if you fast for 12 hours, and that isn't very hard, because you figure that whenever you have supper, don't have anything else to eat until you have breakfast the next day, 12 hours in the middle there. And that they are found is very, very helpful to let the digestive system heal. And so that is this part, and we'll move on in the next segment. The next segment is our respiratory system, and this starts with your nose, and it goes down to your little villi in your lungs, these little elastic pouches. And this is such an important system because it uses the red blood cells and it fills them up with oxygen, and that's what goes throughout your whole body, taking care of these great needs that you have for that. And you want more vitamin C, vitamin E, and carotene. Carotene repairs lung tissue faster than anything else, and so you want more and more of that. If you have bronchitis all the time, you want to use more and more carotene. So eating carrots, eating squash, eating sweet potatoes, that is great for your lungs. Also, omega-3s are great for your lungs. If you are somebody that is a vegan or a vegetarian, You can still have omega-3s. You don't need fish oil. You can use the omega-3s, can come from eggs, it can come from walnuts, comes from flax seeds, chia seeds, but fatty fish is one of the best ways to get it. The circulatory system. This is a big one because this affects your whole body and your brain. It carries blood everywhere. And you need water and potassium to make that 10.5 pints that most of us have. And a red blood cell lasts 4 months. That's how long they take to change. And you have 100 million red blood cells in your body, and we get 3 million every new second. Every second you get 3 million new red blood cells. So you need a lot of water for this system. And those little tiny cells in those 4 months travel 47 miles through your system. Your heart beats 100,000 times a day, and if you live to the age 80, your heart will have pumped 50 million gallons of blood. This heart is really, really an important piece of your body. If you stretched out all of your vessels, they would stretch 60,000 miles. And do you know, remember, it's 24,900 miles around the equator. And this is 60,000 miles. That's how many blood vessels you have. That's why it's important that you don't gain weight, because the problem with it is, or you keep a healthy weight, is the problem with it is that the more vessels you have, in every pound you have more vessels, that's where you could get the high blood pressure, because it pushes against the walls. You want that to be elastic and strong. Doctors can tell when they do a surgery if people have if they have good eating habits, if they have strong muscles, because there's muscles in everything. And we need to keep our body strong. And we do that with exercise. Your skeletal system, you have 206 bones, and a really important thing that you do for this is good posture. And you need calcium, but calcium does not work without vitamin D. So remember that. 10 minutes out in the sunshine gives you a lot of vitamin D without sunscreen. Just outside 10 minutes, getting more and more vitamin D. And every 10 years, you have a new skeleton. Now, you know, it might be disappointing to think it takes 10 years to get a new skeleton, but think about it. Did you even think that you could get a new skeleton? What if you have something wrong with your bones? They're changing too. They're changing all the time. But it's just at a slower pace. But you can start working with them. We can start visualizing. You can start healing even with your skeleton. Your muscles, the best thing you can do with your muscles is to move them. They have to be moving through gravity. You have 640 skeletal muscles. Those are muscles that you have voluntary, you can make them change. But then you have 850 altogether of muscles that are involuntary, that are in your stomach, in your intestines, on the inside of your heart, and in your lungs. All those places that your body is just taking care of things. It's making them pump. It's making the blood pump through those organs. It's a really important thing, and you need a lot of vitamin B and B12 in your muscles, but you need a lot of protein. That's one of your most important things for that. Your endocrine system, this is where the hormones are, and they're the chemical messengers. So when you have too much cortisol, this is where you get adrenal fatigue, because you're working with the hormones here. And so it's regulating your metabolism, your growth, you're developing new tissues, sexual function, uh, reproduction, sleep, your mood, all of that is coming from these hormones. And so, what you want to do for this system is avoid steroids as much as you can, rest, a healthy diet. Again, it likes omega 3s, exercise, relax, and slow down. Enjoy life much more because that makes those happy hormones rather than the ones that are scary and causing troubles for you. Um, One of the things in your nervous system, this is a really interesting thing because this is something that's rather new out there. There's a protein in our body, and it's a really, really important protein. It's called BDNF, and I am sorry, I don't know what that stands for. I've just always seen it with the letters. But there's a big study at Rush in Chicago of our body makes this BDNF, and it's very, very important protein. And so the study at Rush found that you can make a lot more of it with blueberries. And with blueberry vinegar, there's even more for it. But you also get it with sunshine. And they studied people that were in a dim light for 30 days, and their function for memory and learning went down 30%. One of the most importance for the brain. And what you can do for these nerves is exercise. Yoga is the best for this. Meditation and omega 3s. And all of this produces nerve impulses. If you've ever had nerve pain, you want to do everything you can for your nervous system, which includes your brain, your spinal cord, and all the nerves that make up this system. And so we want to do how we can make more of this BDNF. Blueberries, blueberries, blueberries. And I'll be making blueberry vinegar this summer, and I hope you will be too, because it's amazing. We have control. We can use these foods. We can do what our body needs, and we can become healthier. So we're moving on to the next system. Urinary, this is the kidneys, the bladders, and the kidneys filter waste from our bodies. They need water. They need sodium. They need magnesium and potassium. And one of the best things that we can do for our kidneys is more water and less painkillers, because painkillers are very, very harmful to our kidneys, and weight control, because if we can stay a good weight, it's easier for our kidneys. And so we'll be moving on to the immune system next. Okay, our immune system. Our immune system is, its whole job is to try to keep us safe, just like our skin tries to keep everything away from us, and it holds in our moisture, and it's trying to keep the toxins away from us. Our immune system is part of that too. Our immune system is constantly trying to make new cells, trying to fight the bacterias that are out there, the viruses, and still keep, because we have bacteria in our body that's good bacteria. So we don't want to fight that. Now what happens is that sometimes the our immune system gets overzealous and it starts attacking its own. And that's where we get autoimmune diseases, and that's where so many diseases right now are being studied. And so we want our immune system to be extremely, extremely strong. And so what this is going to be is we want vitamin D again. You can start to see how important vitamin D is, the omega 3s, and you can get these with eggs, walnuts, chia, flaxseed. You wanted vitamin Bs. That's really, really important because vitamin D is what supports vitamin B, supports the white blood cells. And we need more and more of those. When those become too low, it weakens the immune system. We need to be eating things that make it strong, but we also need fresh air. We need fresh air more than anything else. This is the immune system needs that. We need fresh air. We need to be happy. The happier you are, the stronger your immune system is. So we want to find things that can work for us. Fresh air, exercise. In fact, they have found that we're happier with exercise than any drug that we can take. So you can move your body. I'm going to give you 4 different thumps, because what we want to do too is we have the these wonderful pathways, meridians through our body, and that they are right in our body, so that we can, as the energy moves from place to place, if energy gets stuck, or with a, say, an emotion or an illness, something like that, then that starts to affect your immune system. You can use acupuncture for that. But what you can start with is these thumps every day to keep yourself stronger and healthier. Of course, right here, your thymus gland is the best one, and little kids love it because they can, do the whole Tarzan yell while they're doing it. But this is an important one, because what it does is it releases T cells. The T cells are the cells that are really smart. So many of the cells that are fighter cells are important cells, but these T cells are smart enough that they can use the B vitamins that you're getting, and what they're doing is they're telling the other cells, they're targeting the negative cells that are hurtful to you, and they're making it so that that nobody goes after their own cells. So you want T cells so you don't deal with any of these autoimmune diseases. So that's the first thump. The next one is the kidney meridians, and those are under the collarbone right here, and that wakens up the life force according to Chinese medicine. But right in here, and it also can release many different emotions that get stuck. The along, I'm going to try to pull up here a little bit so you can see this, but under where your brow would be and the side seam, this is your spleen meridians, and this is very, very strong immune system, and it also metabolizes food, and it metabolizes emotions. So if you eat something you would rather not have, or if you have a really, really hard day, you want to tap along here. And you're just tapping with these 3 fingers, and you're just tapping along here and along those meridians. The next one is under the eye bone, and this is the stomach meridians. And this is really effective. A lot of our emotion gets stuck there, and if you can go all the way around, that is you're hitting the gallbladder and the bladder meridians too. So those are very important. This is an important thing of reaching all these different meridians and tapping on them, and it increases your immune system. And another thing we want to do is the lymph system, because this is also a part of the immune system. One of the things that Western medicine is jumping on those rebounders, those little trampolines, but Eastern medicine is going from your toes to your heels, just rocking back and forth, toes to heels, because we have our lymph system is these lymph vessels are so tiny and right under the skin, and there's no pump for them. So you really want to get that fluid moving through your body. So really start either using the rebounder or just rolling on your toes to heels. Um, your lymph system is all over your body. They're located in your bone marrow and your spleen, your thymus gland, your lymph nodes, and in your tonsils. The heart, lung, intestines, liver, and skin also have lymphatic tissue. So it's a big piece of our body. And in fact, if you have surgery, they can't even reattach those little vessels, as important as they are, because they they carry your lymph system does is it carries the toxins to get rid of them. When you tap on those spaces, those meridians that I told you, those those organs that respond to those meridians dump the toxins into your bloodstream to get rid of them. So it's really, really important that you do everything you can for those meridians. Another thing, fascia. Your fascia is this group of, it's almost like those bags that you get onions in, those, because it's made up of like a mesh, and it's a sticky protein, and it holds everything in. It holds our organs in, it holds our skin, it's everything. It's what holds us all together. And it is where our emotions get stuck in the fascia. That's why a deep massage. That's why there's a lot of fascia exercises that you can do, and it is you want to move that the energy around the fascia. When you go to sleep at night, you get something that they call fuzz, and it gets on all of this mesh bag that holds us together. And if you don't move and shake, it becomes stronger and stronger, and it takes away your flexibility. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you do what your animals do. You stretch out before you even get out of bed. You stretch, and this fuzz is very fine when it starts, and it'll break right through. It'll break right through, and you become more flexible all the time. You can do it by shaking, you can do it by wiggling, but you need to wake it up. And that is the fascia. So we've got this, the one other one is reproductive, and that does all of our sexual organs and things like that. A lot of things are going on right now, and the United States is 26. They have no, they're the bottom of the pile for infant for mother for mothers dying during childbirth. And part of that is because of blood pressure. So all the industrialized countries are way below us. That means we have 26 women out of every 100,000 that die. A place like Italy has 4. So we really need to look into this reproductive system, and especially in our childbirth with our young mothers. And some of them don't even have high blood pressure before, but something is wrong with how we are treating our bodies, and we need to work together on that. Okay, we got that one new one. Hi, this wonderful new system that they've discovered. It's about 25 years that they've known something about it, because the name of it is the endocannabinoid system, and you see cannabis is in there, and that's how they found out about it, is when they were studying the cannabis oil and how pot, and this is not pot, but how marijuana is working on many things with seizures and tumors, and medical marijuana has become something that is legal in a lot of states. This is not marijuana that we're talking about. I'm talking about hemp oil, and I'm talking about some receptors that they have found in our hippocampus. There's two of them, a C1 and a C2. Our body makes this um, it's called endocannabinoid, and it makes these little C1, CB1 and CB2 receptors, and CB1 is all about fear, memory, and emotions, and CB2 is about the immune system and digestive. It's how our body responds to pain, neurological signals, and stress. They're one of the things that they are working towards with this is to keep our body in homeostasis so that it's even, that you're not feeling a lot of pain, a lot of nerve issues, and stuff like that. And when this system is unbalanced, then you're subject to epilepsy, brain tumors, MS, prostate cancer, rheumatoid arthritis, osteoarthritis, anxiety, migraines, IBS, breast cancer, and dermatitis. You can get the same thing from hemp oil or some phytocannabinoids, and it's an oil that you can find. What they're finding is that people can use this for pain, and they're getting really good results. People that are shaky, they're getting really good results with this. Uh, I am not a doctor, I am not prescribing here, but what I am doing is I am sharing with you what I'm reading. I'm sharing with you what are studies out there. And with this, another thing that works amazing for pain is curcumin. That's from turmeric. And the curcumin is actually the part that really works. That's why you can't just eat Indian food and think you're going to get the same amount of, of pain relief as if you take a supplement with curcumin. I've also read that if that supplement has black pepper in it, that the results are better. So, if you make a combination of curcumin, hemp oil, or this phytocannabinoid oil, frankincense, again, make sure that you pick a oil that is very, very pure. If you want to know more about what I use for frankincense, message me and I'll get you all set up. But I use frankincense a lot. I watched Truth About Cancer. I don't know how many of you did that, but frankincense is also something that they are studying extensively for cancer. And omega-3s again. So omega-3s, boswellia, which is frankincense, curcumin, which is from turmeric, and hemp oil for pain. Those things together. I know personally that the curcumin works for pain in this house, and frankincense, um, and we eat a lot of omega-3s. So if you have arthritis, this might be something you want to check into and see how that works for you. So the one thing I'm going to tell you about a new signpost that happened to me this week. And then when we start again, we'll start with the spiritual part, and we're talking about vibrations. And then we'll do Italy. But this was my signpost this week. And I'm sure it'll make you laugh, which will get rid of stress, which will make your immune system crazy. I was going to speak in Madison. I was all dressed up. I'd even worn makeup. And my hair actually looked not too bad. And I had a little extra time. I was ahead of time, so I went to get my car washed. And we got into the car wash lane, and my car didn't move ahead the way it was supposed to. And the man came over and said, don't put your foot on the brake. I said, I'm not. And he said, make sure it's in neutral. And I said, it is. And he pushed the button over and over again. And then he came back, and I had moved a little bit. And he came back and he came to my window, and I lowered my window. And he said, you have it in park, not in neutral. So I quickly put it into neutral. And because he had pushed the buttons a million times, my car zoomed ahead, and the and before I could raise the window, I was full of bubbles. I was full of bubbles, my hair, my face. I mean, big bubbles, big, wet, dry, wet, rack bubbles. And um, all I could do once I got the windows closed is just laugh, because it was such a funny thing. Well, I had paper towel in the car, luckily, and got ready for my little talk. And it had bothered me for 2 days. What was the good Lord trying to tell me about this? What happened? Did he just want me to lighten up? Did he want me not to feel stressed? Did he want me to laugh and release the tension? Or was there something more? Now, what I do sometimes when I want the answers to things, before I go to sleep at night, I'll think about it and I'll ask the question. And then I try to clear my mind. And I breathe in and I just pump it out of my nose. And I do that maybe 4 times. And then I go to sleep. Well, as I was waking up, before I woke up, what I saw in my mind was my where I shift, and I saw it myself move it from park into neutral. And it came to me very easy that when we're going through something dirty, when we're cleaning things, when we're getting rid of things, when we are metabolizing things in our life, situations that might not be exactly where we want to be, and I'm in one of those right now where I'm trying to figure some things out. And when you're doing that, don't put it in park. Don't stop. Don't ruminate over I need this, I can't do that, I I'm hurting, I'm sick, whatever. Don't park. Put it in neutral. That's okay. Get a breath. Find out the information that you need and then put it in drive. Let yourself move slowly. Take a break, but don't stop. Even slowly, you're moving through that swamp, that dismal swamp that we all go through sometimes. It isn't a punishment. It's something that you're learning. It's something, a way that you're growing, because that's what we're here for. And so that was my signpost this week. I hope you have a laugh when you started to think of me filled with bubbles everywhere, because it really was funny. And then we'll move on in a few minutes. Hi there. This is a spiritual part. This is about vibrations. And I want you to think about the fact that everything is vibrations. Every thought you think, every everything that is living is a vibration, has a vibration to it. In fact, things that aren't even living, because things that are, when you have, everything has an aura around it, and that's just this energy field, this wonderful energy field. And there's a camera that they use in museums, that you can see the colors, the energy. You can see the energy around an object. And when the energy is gone, the object has deteriorated to nothing. Because as long as we have this field, and we have an edge, it's a blue corona, it's called, and it's around our field. And if we can take your hands and go like this until you feel a pushback, that's where your energy field is. That's where you're feeling your own energy. And people can feel your energy, because everybody's energy comes out about 10 feet from them. So if somebody gets in that field that has a real low energy, if you're not being mindful, it can pull you down. But if you are being mindful and you are keeping your energy up, then you will pull them up. And that's the thing. So people have come out with different scales. Now, what I sent you in this handout is from Esther Hicks, and she is a channeler, and she channels Abraham. Um, Abraham, whether you believe in channelers or not, this is also the vibrational scale, is also found in a book by David Hawkins. He's an MD, and the book is called Power versus Force. Wayne Dyer said he felt that that book is the most important book of our century. So it's a very interesting thing, and he has tested all sorts of different things, different words, different ideas, and how people respond, whether they become strong or weak on these different ideas with muscle testing. And it tends to be the very same that Esther came up with this vibrational scale. Like I said, there's many vibrational scales out there just using different words, but I like this one. And it also starts with the idea that any shame, blame, and guilt, when you blame somebody, when you feel guilty, if you feel that shame, those are the lowest vibrations we can have. And it makes you unable, and our vibrations change all the time because emotions change. But our point is that we want to stay at the higher vibrations as often as we can. And the world, society, is constantly trying to shame people, constantly trying to change your viewpoint to work along with the team and to be the same. And when we try to force people into who they're not, it causes shame, it causes blame, and then they feel guilty, and those are the lowest vibrations. And they can't be healthy, they can't be strong when they're not living their truth. So we want to be our authentic self as often as possible. At 200, at the courage level, which is courage to be yourself, to listen to your body, to be who you really want to be, not who you think you should be. And this is where I find a lot of people is they are afraid to give up the pain. They're afraid to give up the way they've been living their body, their life, because of the fact that who would they be? If you've been one person for so long, how do you get past that? So at 200, that's the place where you start giving back as much energy to the world as you're taking. You're no longer an energy thief. You're now giving energy back. It isn't when you walk into a room, it isn't as if all the lights went off. It's as if you are able to be compassionate. You are able to not put yourself first. It's not always all about you. It's about living the dream, living the way you want to be, what you want your legacy to be, what you want to be remembered as. And those are things like love, joy. And it's not love like you have for one person. It's love that you just have, that you love life, that you just find that an unconditional feeling that it isn't just about the people in your family. It's about the trees and the animals and the earth. It's about so many pieces of that. Reason. If you like to learn new things, this is why this month it's going to be about Italy. It's a point of that if you want your brain to be as healthy as it possibly can be, you want to keep learning new things. You don't always think that the life you're living is the best or the even that the United States is the smartest or it has everything the best. No, we should be learning from other places. Many things it is the best in some things, and but it needs to learn in other things because that's what life is. And so that's why I'm always wanting your brain to be learning new things because it's a higher vibration. It isn't when you are thinking of gossipy things, that's a low vibration. Reality TV, low vibration. But learning new things, high vibrations. Feeling joy and happiness, not pleasure. Not pleasure. Pleasure is not bad, but pleasure isn't always a high vibration. But joy is a high vibration. It's when your whole body is vibrating at this higher level. Now, what David Hawkins figured out is that, okay, so let's say that joy, because joy is the one that I am really, for the last years, have really been trying to vibrate more and more at joy. Um, that would be, if I can hold that position, it counterbalances 750,000 people below 200. Now that's changing the world. That's my little corner. That's my little way. But it's not only changing the world, it's also changing my body. My cells are responding at a different level when I hold that. I have times where I can and times where I can't. I did through the whole thing with the tumor that I had. I was joyful. And because of that, my skin healed so quickly that the doctors couldn't understand it. It was almost as if that I hadn't even been cut open. That's how fast I healed. 3 days, my incision was not even anything that you would imagine. But I was able to hold the joy. I am not able to always do that, of course, but that's the one I worked at. Pick what you want and work more and more at it. If it's love, try to be unconditionally loving everything because it does change the world. There's many situations in the journal of conflict and resolution, and where they've had people that are able to do this and hold peace. And when they do, and they have a number of them, there's articles about Beirut, and when enough people were holding that space, they had there was almost no police calls, there was no ambulances. They, as long as they could hold it, it's what happened when there was the three qigong masters that held that space for the lady with that was it was on Discovery, and she had a 5-inch tumor in her bladder, and on real time you could watch it on TV. That bladder healed because they held that space of love. So it's an important thing. Let's work together to do it. Let's pick what it is, the vibration you want to stay at, and then everything you do, make sure that's where you're working. Being mindful. Mindful is the answer for just about everything. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, I want to talk to you about Italy. It's one of my very favorite places to be in the world, and I got to go there with Jim to visit his relatives. And we did 2 weeks. The first week, we went with our Italian teacher because we took 2 years of Italian first. And he decided that he did not want to be a teacher. And not, I don't think we did it to him, but after he was teaching for quite a while, he decided he didn't want to do that. He wanted to take tour groups. And he asked if we would be his first tour so that he could practice. So we went for a week with him. And we went to Florence, which was amazing. And then we walked the Cinque Terre, which is an international place, and it is like our national parks. And they have national parks too, but this is an international park. And it is 5 little villages, fishing villages, connected by a path. And people can't drive there. You have to take the train, and then you get out and you walk along down to one of these little fishing villages. And you can walk all along the whole trail. You walk through beautiful things that are olive fields and grape vineyards. And you come down and you find these ancient villages that people just are living their lives. And it smells so good. And it's along the sea. And it is something, if you ever get the opportunity, please do it. It is amazing. And we went to visit Jim's family, and they they are it it was something different than I ever imagined, because people live differently, and how they live is they're surrounded by art, by music, and by food, and their food is part of their art. They're surrounded about by the spiritual. There's churches everywhere, and it's a high rate of people believing in something bigger than themselves. One of the things I noticed was that there was no problem with people being overweight that I saw. I saw people eating all the time, but nothing, they weren't overweight. And I have pictures for you, and I'm going to try to get those on so that you can see them, because where we have food carts and food trucks that they have fast food, these pictures of food that I have for you are food that you just pick along, that is along the street, and it's amazingly good. It's good for you. What people do is they don't eat fast like we do. They sit, and it might be 3 hours that you sit and eat supper at night, talking. It's not that you're eating 3 hours, it's that you're eating slowly and you're enjoying your food. And I think that's a secret. Because we feel guilty, because people have told us that we need to be an exact weight and look an exact size, we eat quickly and we eat things that aren't good for us. And we all think we have no time to relax. But if you do relax, you see a better life. And what I saw was beauty everywhere. I'm showing you pictures of a cemetery, and these were the tombstones. That's what all that cement was. These are the tombstones in the cemetery. This artwork is unreal. Everywhere you went, there was music. There was music. And you will see a picture of a dad and a son playing an accordion, and a little boy in front who is singing his heart out. Because music is important, art is important, God is important. People have little altars along their yard. It is a place where stuff is not as important. Stuff is no place did I go that people had a multitude of things. What I saw, and I'm sure there are many people that are very rich, but the people I saw, the homes that I was with, I was at an old man's home that was a friend of our teacher, that was a butcher that created this amazing meal for us. And he had very little, very little. But he was so happy, and he was so healthy. He walked up so many steps to get up the mountain, because there's hills and mountains everywhere in Italy. It's a very, very high elevation place. They believe in education and studying and learning. Your words you're going to find to start with. And I don't know if anybody cares about words, but I will keep giving you different words because it's good for your brain. So right now, what I want you to think of is buongiorno, and it means hello, buongiorno, and ciao. Ciao can mean hi, bye. It's a word that you can use for both hello and goodbye, ciao. Por favor is please, and piacere is another way to say that. Grazie is thank you. Bene, bene is good. Bene. What is your name? Como si chiamo? Como ci amo? What is your name? My name. So I would say my name. Mia chiamo Gina, because Jane is not a name. I was Gina there. That's what Jane would be. Jim was Giacomo. Um, and one of my favorite is La Dolce Vita, a sweet life, and La Bella Vita, a good life, a beautiful life. And that's what they live, and that's what I wish for you. What I wish for you is that you live La Bella Vita, a good life, that you take back your life, that you choose what you want in your life. What are you going to manifest? What is a vibration going to be? Because if you're manifesting something, you have to be at that same vibration of what it is you want to manifest. So I ask you to think, what would you give to actually do something big? What do you want? What can you do? What can you see? How can you change your cells? Because they're changing. They're changing all the time, but they're changing on default what somebody else has told you your belief system should be. I want you to decide. And then think those thoughts, feel those emotions so that you can change your cells, so that you can become the person you want to be, that you can live the life you want to live, because that's what you deserve. And that's what's possible. I'm promising you, that's what's possible. We're all going to die. Can we control everything? No. And I don't know when any of us are going to die. All I know is that we can live a La Dolce Vita, that sweet life, while we're here. I'm going to do um, a relaxation, and that'll be the next piece. And so I want you to find a place that you can relax for a minute, for 10 minutes, and just in those 10 minutes, let your body start to relax so that inflammation can start to disappear. Thank you. Ciao.